pressure adjustment at that 35-lap caution, and he's pretty happy with it right now. I don't think we'll make any adjustments unless the sun, the sun's come out now. If that's made a change on the car for him, we might play with some tire pressure for this next stop. But he hasn't said anything so far, so we're probably going to stay just like we are.
And more likely, Larry, they ease the air pressure down just a little bit. Just a little bit, and the 31 car is in. He got lapped, and so he came on pit road. But the crew chiefs will ease that air pressure down as they go along. Here comes the 19.
Yeah, just lower that air pressure. It'll just give them more grip on a longer run.
And as the track gets hotter, the tire pressure will build up a little bit more, so you got to start it out a little lower.
The only downside, car won't drive very good first couple of laps when you go out there on a green flag stop.
Pole sitter on pit road, Bill Elliott.
Yeah, the 19 came in, and Bill's right here behind him.
Larry, this is a little early considering we've had 2 cautions.
A little bit, but a lot of these Dodges, we've seen the fuel mileage has not been exactly what some of the other cars are getting. Matt Yoakum.
Well, Larry, Bill Elliott came on the radio talking to his crew chief, Mike Ford, as he counts him down into his pit, about how the car had started to go from neutral to tight up off. So they are going to make a wedge adjustment. Phil Gould with the wrench, who actually during the off week went back to Ray Evernham's old stomping grounds, Wall Stadium in New Jersey, and won his first ever feature at a street stop. They also made an air pressure adjustment in on both right side tires to help that car turn. 14.7 seconds. Good stop.
Kyle Petty is in. Now that's another Dodge. When you're Michael Waltrip.
When you're making a lot of power, when you're producing a lot of power in the hood, you're going to burn a lot of fuel, and then the gear ratio.
Right. The Dodges tend to pull a little lower gears. That'll use a little more fuel,
Exactly.
more RPMs.
Heavy traffic, rush hour in Texas at 98 laps.
A lot of cars come on pit road now, so, it's like first time one good car comes in, here they all come.
Jimmy Johnson's in, Kurt Busch is in, Rick Mast is in, and Stacy Compton, Terry Labonte. As you watch Michael Waltrip stop, Matt?
Mike, a number of adjustments on Michael Waltrip's Napa car. Chad Walter did a track bar adjustment. They made a wedge adjustment on the left side of the car. As Michael Waltrip is down in the way, 16.8 seconds.
There's Jimmy Johnson. Shauna Robinson's come to the pit. That's about a quarter of the field that's been in.
Be ready, go, go, go!
There's Jerry Ney doing the 25 car. Of course, he was lapped a little bit earlier.
Ted Canals on the radio talking to Jimmy Johnson.
And Dale Jarrett just keeps mowing them down. Ricky Rudd takes over second place, 1.5 seconds back.
Tony Stewart, the 20 car, comes to pit road. I'm going to anticipate Mark Martin running 5th. He will lead a lap here. Those Rouse cars normally get better fuel mileage than anybody.
Frank Kimmel is in, and so is Jimmy Spencer.
Now Mark's up to
Brake
5th.
left now.
See, what I don't like here is Jimmy Spencer in the 41, Tony Stewart in the 20. If I was their crew chiefs, I'd have talked a little bit, and I'd have tried to get these cars on pit road in separate laps.
What we don't see from that angle, though, Larry, is Spencer. He's way at the back of that pit box, so if he beat Tony out, he'd have clear room to swing out. But you're right. Ideally, you'd stop on a different lap than the car right in front of you. Here's our point standing runner-up Kenseth, along with Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, and Johnny Benson on pit road.
And these are fairly
Here comes the lead.
good-sized pit boxes.
Here comes Jared.
And his teammate followed.
Dick Berggren.
Well, Jeff Gordon has moved forward today. He's had a very good run after starting in the back of the pack. He had been running in the 13th spot just before this pit stop. Dale Jarrett is going to be coming into pit right behind him. Jarrett, strongest car in the field so far today. Virtually no change necessary to the car. He says it's just a bit tight coming off the corners. That's not so bad. It's better when he's in the lead than when he's in traffic, however. Traffic does seem to bother the car. So far, 4 tires stopped. Everything's just fine.
Ricky Rudd out, as well as Jeff Burton, Buckshot Jones, Rusty Wallace, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. come to the pit.
And guess who just led that lap?
Mark Martin.
Mark Martin.
Sterling Marlin is in as well. Steve?
Like Rusty Wallace in, they contemplated taking a piece of tape off the nose to affect the handling. Rusty Wallace said, no, let's leave it the way it is. 4 tires, Dennis Perry on the front tires, Rob Ford on the rear. Come on, Yoakum.
And Dale Jr. is already in for service. They made a track bar adjustment. He said his car was still tight up off the corner. He couldn't get the car to turn. And Jr.'s gone.
Mark Martin gives up the lead to Pitt along with Kurt Busch and John Andretti.
Dave Blaney in the 77, Ricky Craven in the 32. They come to pit road.
Dick Berggren.
Well, Mark Martin is now pitting. They called him into his pit stall. He is pitted out of the lead. A strong race car here in Texas. Martin, always a contender here at Texas. He has won almost half the stock car races he has ever run in this place, given his incredible success with the Busch Series. Martin, a good, strong pit stop.
Ryan Newman comes to pit road.
He had inherited the lead, got his 5 bonus points for leading.
And Kenny Schrader also peels off the turn 4 banking to pit. Steve?
And they just made a track bar adjustment on the 12 car of Ryan Newman. Left side tires going on. Good stop for Ryan Newman.
That pretty well cycles us through. We're still waiting on Hut Strickland, Steve Park, Kevin Harvick, Mike Skinner, and Jeff Green, along with Ward Burton and Elliott Sadler. Those are the drivers who have not yet pitted.
Boy, Bobby Labonte got a run off the 2 over there while Skinner and Harvick were side by side and took them both.
Skinner and Harvick on old tires, Labonte on new tires.
And it will be a few laps before they come in, because remember, they were some of the cars that pitted about lap 50, so they had about 7 or 8 extra laps that they could run, hoping for that caution flag.
Hut Strickland, driving a Bill Davis Dodge, has taken over the lead here in Texas at 106 laps.
The Samsung RadioShack 500 on Fox is brought to you by RadioShack. You've got questions, we've got answers. By Bram, who reminds you that there's no better feeling than that of a job well done. By Dr. Scholl's, look, feel, do better. And by Miller Lite. Life is best told at a place called Miller Time.
Welcome back to Texas. Leader Hut Strickland made a pit stop, and Kenny Schrader had to come back in to remove this wrench.
And it cost you a lot of time. The Steve Park in the 1 car who had went up there and taken the lead before pitting had to come back to pit road. He had a lug nut missing off the left front.
And now Kevin Harvick, the last driver to pit, comes onto the pit lane. Jeff Green just completes his stop. So Harvick picked up the lead. That'll hand it over to, well, now I said the last driver, but Elliott Sadler and Ward Burton have yet to come in. Excuse me. So here's Harvick.
Harvick could run about 7 or 8 laps longer than some of the other guys could, because he had pitted on the second caution that we had about lap 49 or 50. Hoping for that caution. Not unusual to see Elliott Sadler out there. Those guys being a Roush motor, they get good gas mileage like the Roush cars. You know, we want to talk about pit stop efficiency under green flag. Yeah, the pit stop's important. From here to here, you have to do 45 miles an hour. But from coming on to pit road and leaving, it's open season. Look at DJ. Look at the difference in him, and look at Dale Earnhardt Jr. versus his teammate Ricky Rudd. Ricky Rudd had the better pit stop. DJ did a better job of getting on pit road and off pit road.
Yeah, I was watching, Larry, and the reason why, and it's a great job on the spotter's part, there were no cars behind him when he came off the racetrack. So he was able to take a real wide arc and come down on pit road with a lot of speed.
Now, Elliott Sadler's in double trouble. He's the race leader. But as soon as he pits, see the car right behind him? Dale Jarrett's going to pick up the lead, and Sadler, when he comes back on the racetrack, might be a lap down.
Yes, he very well may. And I want to explain that lap. What that is, that's actually 2 laps. It's crossing the start-finish line, going around the racetrack, coming to pit road to make the pit stop, leaving and come back around. I think where the real difference is, Darrell, who will attempt to run it the fastest through 3 and 4, still get to pit road and get to 45 miles an hour safely.
Yeah, I like Formula One racing on speed, and Michael Schumacher is an absolute genius when it comes to running a really fast lap just before he brings his car into the pit lane, and he gains a ton of time.
He's the world's best at getting in the laps. So for ease of explanation, Larry, we'll call that the in lap and the out lap.
2 laps combined.
Put together.
Pit stop.
As they call it in Formula One.
Boy, Rusty Wallace in the 2 car, he just drove by Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Bill Elliott. That's a pass for the 4th position.
Ward Burton has made his pit stop. So Elliott Sadler, who, as Larry pointed out, is out of sequence with some of the leaders, has been passed by Dale Jarrett.
I just think it's incredible, Larry, that the guys that came here and tested, and Rusty Wallace, you never hear him talking much about testing. He'll usually let Ryan Newman go do the testing. But he came here, they worked really hard, and man, it's paying off.
Well, and the reason it's paying off, we've talked about it several times, nobody else other than teams that came here and tested got to make any long race runs for lack of practice yesterday.
So Jarrett has taken the lead from Sadler on the racetrack. Ricky Rudd third, Rusty Wallace, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Bill Elliott, Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, Mark Martin, the top 10. And you see that Sadler on those worn tires is well off pace with the rest of the leaders.
But he is, but he's doing all he can to hang with Dale Jarrett, because when he does pit, he wants to be right there with the leader when he comes down pit road.
Fastest man in town that lap, Ryan Newman. Rusty Wallace working Jeff Burton.
Clear.
And now Burton has gone a lap down.
Boy, I tell you, just from a driver's perspective, I just got how they jump back in that throttle so early. It just creates so much corner speed.
Outside is clear. Clear.
I mean, he's not even to the center of the corner, and he's picking the throttle up. That's a product of a lot of grip.
Inside. Your call.
Look in the upper right corner of your screen and how he
Clear all around.
is eating into Dale Jarrett's lead.
All right, bud, at 28 seconds place in front of you. Clear all around.
Well, let's see. We got a Ford first, a Ford second, a Ford third, a Ford in fourth. Kurt Busch is in a Ford in seventh. Mark Martin's in 10th in a Ford.
Let's show you the interval. There is Jarrett and Rudd right there. And Wallace gaining on the second place car.
And I think, Mike, that a Ford is really good for this racetrack because it's balanced well. They can run enough tape on the nose to keep the front down, and they got good drag numbers. They make a lot of power.
3 Fords at the front of the field trying to put Chevrolet 0 for 6 for the season.
And Elliott Sadler's trying to run 3 more laps to make it on less stops than everybody else.
The Samsung RadioShack 500 on Fox is brought to you by Singular Wireless. Never pay long distance or roaming again. It's a singular nation.
Past 1/3 distance here in Texas. Dale Jarrett leading mile by 3.5 seconds over Ricky Rudd, Rusty Wallace, Earnhardt Jr., Elliott, Kurt Busch.
And we need to get our pit producer, Pam Miller, if you could get up here right away with some double A's, or maybe even a backup calculator, because this and what Larry's got will not last the whole race.
It's been smoking at it.
I'm filling up. We're not even halfway into the race
But
yet.
you always have to figure a race like this. It has a green flag look to it. Yeah, as a crew chief, you don't worry about it. You just keep driving for it.
Shut up and drive, right?
I'm going to tell you what kind of strategy, and I don't think it'll pay off maybe should this thing go green for Elliott Sadler to win the race because he's 2 laps down, but there's no question he ran 70 laps that time. He has to run 71 more times, 71 laps twice, and he can make this race on 1 less stop than everybody else.
But if you're going to keep falling laps behind, I mean, so what?
Robert Yates is working his stopwatch and doing his own calculations. Now, the way Sadler got 2 laps down, by staying out on worn tires, Dale Jarrett on fresh tires was able to catch him. When Sadler pitted, Jarrett had already passed him for the lead. Pitting under green, he lost a lap. So
it's a downside. You maybe won't turn it into a win, but you can turn it maybe from a 20th place finish to a top 10 finish.
I guess it would depend on who you're racing. Maybe he's not racing Dale Jarrett. You know, maybe he's looking for